So for this test data, whatever we are trying to insert, if you can just watch, this test data is containing a record with one of the value in the column called as department name. The value itself is containing one underscore. The same way we are just trying to keep another insert. We're just trying to say 60, and here I'm just trying to say cargo percentage deck, and this is basically say like at Mumbai. Now the second record, if you just can catch, in this particular second record we are having the criteria with a percentage symbol, and then technologically it's some kind of data that is basically used by the wildcards. That's what we know. Now I'm just going with the criteria and composition of the process. Let's select 70, and here I'm having courier desk, and let us say like this is in Delhi. So these three records, if you can just watch carefully, these three records are definitely having some kind of data within the department name column, where this data is having a special character within the process now. All the remaining number of departments, we are technologically not having anything that is identified with a special character. But as far as these three records are concerned, we are having some special character. And our major concentration in this is, especially your cargo deck and you just watch your shipping base, these two records are having our wildcards as their special characters. These two are actually used for the purpose of what? The wildcard representations in like operator. So technologically, the question now that arises is how you will search the data of this nature. So we said that whenever we deal with like operator, it can go with patterns. Okay, any pattern we have been searching, the question that arises, how you will search the patterns that are fundamentally containing the wildcards itself. So whenever this question comes, normally you just watch, we are saying select department number, comma, dname, comma, location from DEPT, and then we are trying to say where dname like, and I'm just trying to say starting can be anything, ending can be anything, but I just want at least one underscore. So yesterday we have seen that whenever we keep anything like that, it comes in the logic of what? At least once. So here I want to tell my Oracle that wherever my department name is containing at least one underscore, you better get me all those records now. Now the question that arises is, how your Oracle knows that this is your search character, but it is not a wildcard character. So it has to first understand how this is a search character, technologically in the concept and composition of the process. So you need to just understand the factors very clearly. So when you execute this query, you just watch, it just gives you all the records. So it is a very clear evidence that Oracle is unable to understand that underscore as a search character. It is understanding it as what? Wildcard character. So technically how we can make Oracle to understand that as a criteria and composition of the wildcard character is very, very important. You need to always understand that. Okay, just make a note first. Whenever we use a like operator, it cannot directly recognize underscore and percentage symbols as search characters as search characters. As search characters. In order to make the like operator, to recognize these operators, as search characters, we have to use the concept of escape sequence. Okay, now how we will declare that escape sequence, you just watch now. Generally by programming languages, the escape sequence is considered with backslash. So normally my intention is, starting can be any characters, ending can be any characters. Consider this particular backslash as a escape sequence, and then consider this underscore as what now? Search character. But try to understand one thing, Oracle cannot understand backslash directly as a escape sequence. Therefore, it is searching for the data that is containing at least once backslash. So by default in Oracle, backslash is not an escape sequence like it is in your programming languages. First understand this. So if I have to make my Oracle to understand that this character is an escape sequence and anything after that should be treated as a search character, then I have to use one keyword called as escape. And then tell my Oracle what is the character that should be used for escaping. So now I am telling my Oracle that please treat this character as an escape sequence, and then immediately after that it becomes what now? Search character. So watch carefully here now. So I am getting my record that is containing at least one underscore. So whenever you want to search the data which actually contains your underscore and percentage symbols, with the help of the like operator, you have to definitely use something that is looking as escape sequence. So this particular character, can I keep with anything? Yes, anything can be kept, but universally we follow what? Backslash as an escape sequence, therefore we just adapt it, that's all. Now the same way you can just watch now. Please get me all the department names that are containing at least one percentage. Now, can I change this escape sequence character? You can always change, but whatever you kept there, that you have to use. So you need to just understand that little factor very clearly. Even though this escape sequence character can be of anything, but universally the world follows backslash, so better follow that as a standard. Are you catching the point? Be very clear about that. So, especially when your pattern contains a character that is part of the wildcards, but you want to treat that as a search character, please try to use escape sequence concept and start searching. This is definitely an expected question. Be very, very clear about that when you're part of your first round interviews. So that's your overall like operator, what you have to basically remember. Now, I'm just executing some data in front of you. You just watch here. I'm saying select star from EMP. Now this data, whatever I'm having on my particular screen, this data came from my EMP table. You agree with me? Now can you tell me, Oracle was giving me this particular data by which a particular order of the operation? On any specific column, my Oracle was technologically trying to push the data in the process. Now can you just, by which particular order of the columns is returning the data? So do you find any specific order of ascending or descending by any particular column? No. So just keep one point very clear in your mind. Whenever you are trying to work with your select statements in your particular SQL, any SQL, not only Oracle, SQL never promises that it will return your data definitely with a particular order of any column. So as per the rule of RDBMS, ordering of the data is not guaranteed or it's not compulsory whenever we are retrieving the data. Be very clear about that. Now you may have your own doubts. So why it is not ordering the data by some specific column? Ordering is actually a client level activity. When we do this ordering at the server side, it gives a huge amount of load unnecessarily. Second thing, if suppose server is ordering this data by employee numbers, then definitely this particular data may be necessary for another user by employee names. Means what server is ordering, the same thing the other users may not follow. According to my business requirement, my ordering of the data depends. So once again, the client may reorder the data according to his choice of implementation. When the client may reorder the data according to his choice of implementation, then why the server should take that particular load? That's what is the fundamental construct behind that process. Therefore, whenever you query any data, your data is never returned by ordering on any specific column by default. So the data returned by any query is unordered. If I am expecting that my data should be ordered by the nature of my requirement, then we have to use one special kind of operator called, clause called as order by clause. So the order of rows returned in the result of the query is always undefined. And whenever you are trying to work with the order by clause, you can always use an order by clause such that it can sort the data or sort the rows in the required order. Be very clear about that. So the order by clause should be the last clause within the order of all the clauses. You write any select statement either today or any time. When you want to order the data, your order by clause should be the last clause in the select statement. Order by clause can be directly declared upon a column. Order by clause can be declared upon an alias. Order by clause can even be declared upon any expression. So aliases are supported by order by clauses, but not by where clauses. Be very clear about that. Until you do not mention, the default ordering is always ascending order, where if it is characters, in the order of ascending of ASCII numbers. If it is numbers, I don't need to really tell you, negative numbers to positive numbers. If it is dates, oldest date to the latest date. That's how it will be going. Now null is a value or null is not a value? Null is not a value. Therefore, whenever a null is encountered, all the nulls are treated as the highest values and they are kept at the bottom of the query. Be very clear about that. In the result, the nulls always go to the last. So that's what is the construct you need to always understand. Now whenever you are ordering any particular data, this is the fundamental syntax that will be available. So definitely I can say this part of the syntax is closed. Now we are only trying to extend our query to the next level. So whenever you are using order by, you can call the column name or you can even call any expressions. By default it is ascending. If you want to make it descending, you can use DESC keyword. Ordering can be done not only on one column, you can do ordering on multiple columns also. But whenever you are ordering on multiple columns, please keep one thing in your mind. All columns are never used at a time for ordering. Ordering is done on first column. If the data is having any conflict in ordering, then the second column will be taken. So declaring multiple columns doesn't mean that multiple columns are at a time getting ordered. Column by column it starts moving on and then it starts arranging the data. So just watch carefully when you are coming into the construct of the process, you will understand. I am saying select star provide, just go with the column names so that we will have clarity. E name, job, MGR, hire date, salary, commission, and then we are having the department number. Then we are going with from EMP, and I am saying order by employee number. So I am saying that order by employee number, from the first recruited employee to latest recruited employee, the arrangement will be done. Now remember one thing, my ordering can be on a column. As per the column, the data will be ordered, arranging through the records. Always keep that in mind. People, generally beginners have a wrong notion that only that column is ordering. No. Order by clause concentrates on the column with the values, but arranges by records. Arranges by records. Be very clear about that. So you can just watch here. In the previous case, Smith is here. If you can just watch. Because of the order by employee number, Smith's record was totally shifted to the top. Because it is the first recruited employee number to the latest. In that way, you can just call your order by clause on any column in which you are interested. I am saying order by e-name. By the ASCII of the employees' names. Dictionary arrangement perfectly. We can just call the construct by order by salary. But I want salaries in descending order. So the DESC says that go for descending order. So starting from highest salary to lowest salary. So you need to just check that constructs very carefully. Now I just want to order by department number. I am giving department number here only for convenience of analysis. So I am saying order by department number. So one department can have one employer, many employees. Many employees. So all the employees belonging to the same department are in one place. So this is generally called as data densification. Order by clause always has the ability of data densification. Data densification means data with similar values will be kept in a range of its representation. Now, here one question arises, if these three employees are belonging to the same department, then how did Oracle take the decision of keeping the king first, clerk next and miller third in that department? There is nothing like that. Whenever the data that is ordered is in conflict of the process of the values, Oracle takes decision by itself which record should be the first. But if you think that, watch carefully. I'll just push my salary column here so that you can have clarity. Now whenever you are working with the constraint, these three employees are belong to the same department, so just arranged. Now Oracle doesn't really consider which column it has taken conflict. But if you think that if the employees department numbers are same, then arrangement should be done by salaries. Then you should say that. So watch here, by declaring the salary column here, I am telling my Oracle that whenever two employees departments are same, then arrange them on the salary with a descending order. So watch what happens now. In 20th department, it is arranging all the employees by their salaries, because I told when the department numbers are same, concentrate on salary. See, these two columns are not working at the same time. First it is arranging on this. If the data is in conflict, goes to the next column. Now here once again the question arises, if two salaries are same, what to do? Oracle will take its own decision. But if you think that when two salaries are same, I want the arrangement by employee's name. Just to keep you in convenience, I can call comma e-name. Now whenever I am going with my column with ename, I am very clear saying that if two departments are same, then those records please arrange by salary. If two salaries are same, then arrange by employee's name. So if you are just executing this, you can just watch that these two salaries are also same. So arranged by ascending order of what? Employee names. So when multiple columns are declared, all columns are not participating at a time. First understand this. When multiple columns are declared, it will go column by column in cascading. It will go into column by column in cascading. So you need to just understand that particular factor very clearly. Now let us just check. I am saying order by commission. Commission will contain nulls or not? Yes or no? So you can just watch all the records with the nulls, they are at the bottom. So when nulls are identified, nulls are always arranged at the bottom of the process in ascending order. If you say descending, they all go for the top. They will become first. So you need to just understand about nulls very carefully, man. And finally, just watch here. We are having employee number, comma, ename, sal, comma, commission, salary plus NVL of commission, comma, 0, and then we are saying total sal. We can call order by clause with expressions. Order by clause can always have expressions, and according to expressions it will start arranging the data. So it's taking the total salary and then it is arranging the total salary. Now in the place of expressions, if suppose the column is having any alias, we can call the alias. So order by clause can take aliases and it can start working. Way clause cannot take aliases, but order by clause can take aliases. So order by clause is not complicated, but by practice you should understand what is its behavior. Especially when multi-column ordering is done, all columns are not picked up at the same time. By conflict, it will pick up the next column. Be very clear about that. Are you getting me? Because of multi-column ordering, we can get better arrangement of the data whenever the conflicts are arising. Try to just keep those things in your mind. Now, I can definitely say, this is our first part of the select statement, and I can say this is the first part of our discussion to the process and composition of the selects. Taking these things only, we will play the game to the next levels. So, up to this level, if you are really doing good, then I think we are ready for adding complications into the process. Now one thing what I want to say is, the most powerful composition of SQL is its functions only. If you don't remember a particular function properly that is provided by SQL, a job that can be done by 5 minutes, you'll spend minimum 1 hour for that. Now I can give you the ratio of your productivity, how it will be lost. As the versions are increasing, every database management system software has its own functions that are extended by requirements. But general SQL functions are always same. General SQL functions are always same. Be very, very clear about that. So, whenever you deal with your functions, functions can be discussed in the most simplest form, but at the same time don't forget functions will take the responsibility of cracking your most critical logic sometimes. So before I am keeping my leg into my functions itself, I want to make one point clear. 80% of the total requirements what we need in functions, we will complete definitely at this level. 20% what I personally feel like it cannot be done with functions immediately, you need maturity. I'll be just keeping those things postponed. But the total remaining part of the course, wherever we go, either it is SQL or PLSQL, wherever I feel that I can give you one best example with one function, I will be giving you. But if the function is already told, second time explanation will not be given to that particular function, only execution will be done. Now even at this stage, it's not too late for anybody who is keeping your work pending and you're not putting it into practice. It's seriously time to start, I can tell you. Why? Because you are tested by 40% in your interviews by functions. And 60 to 70% of your work becomes easy in logical implementation in real-time project by functions. Without a function, you cannot survive. Be very clear about that. And one very interesting fact about these functions is, these all functions are built into Oracle. When we say these all functions are built into Oracle, what we mean is, these functions once you learn, you don't need to learn these functions once again separately, because you take any Oracle product, in every Oracle product these functions will work. Today Oracle has more than 5,000 products under its brand name. Means you are pushed into any project of any type with any Oracle product, wherever Oracle connects with SQL, these functions will work as it is. So it's one-time learning, one-time effort that you have to seriously keep, and no way you can just ignore the functions at any point of time. Your core strength starts in Oracle from here. So all these SQL functions, they can be implemented in Oracle with appropriately different types of SQL statements. Because we don't have separate functions but separate statements here. Majority of the functions will work with every SQL statement that is available. Now all SQL functions, whenever you are implementing, they can perform calculations on the data more effectively. SQL functions can modify individual data items according to necessity. SQL functions can manipulate the groups of rows in aggregation. SQL functions can format your dates and numbers according to the requirement of the display. And SQL functions can even convert data types at runtime from one data type to another data type. Means what one programmer can do by writing minimum 10 lines or maximum 10,000 lines of code, one simple function in Oracle can do that effectively. There are certain functions, it will be very highly exaggeration to even accept what I am trying to say. One function, if you can really apply very properly, there are certain functions in Oracle, if you can implement those functions very effectively, certain functions are equivalent to 5,000 lines of programming language code to around 25,000 to 30,000 lines code sometimes. Means that 25 to 30,000 lines code, what you have to write in programming, one function in one single line can complete that task. Highest productivity a SQL developer can give only because of functions. The more stronger you are in functions, the more confident you will feel. So your confidence levels into your course, they will change from this level. And let me tell you one thing very frankly, you're practicing, it increases. You're not practicing, slowly your confidence decreases and it keeps you into depression also. So slowly I will put the ball in your court and you have to start rolling the ball. I will only go on supporting you in the process. Now every function you take in SQL may accept an argument, will accept argument is wrong, may accept. But every function will return definitely one value. One function always returns only one value. Because a function will always returns only one value, the functions in SQL can be nested. Nested means what? One function can call another function, or one function can call itself directly. Nesting of functions is the most powerful composition in SQL. Therefore, if your SQL function is given an input as null, its return value will be null. So, null propagations are there here also, be careful. Your SQL functions are of two types, single row functions and multiple row functions. Single row functions are nothing but these functions, when they are implemented on the data, for every record that is found in the table, the function will work independently, returning one value individually. I am making the point very clear. Whenever you deal with your single row functions, these functions will operate on every single record that is existing within your table, returning one single value for every record that is identified. Therefore, they are called as single rows. Multiple row function. This function will take a set of number of rows as input, and for all the number of rows together it returns only one output. If you cannot understand single row functions, multiple row functions can look nightmare. So there is a clear connectivity now. In the starting class itself I told you, today's topic is definitely an extension to tomorrow. In other words, our entire course is a stitching process between one class to another class. From here it happens more seriously. So whenever you deal with the constructs, a single row function can appear where? A single row function can appear within the select list. A single row function can appear in the where clause or order by clauses. A single row function can definitely appear within the start with and connect by. Start with and connect by we did not really done, or we did not start that seriously. When we come to that level of the topic, we will see. Let us not worry about that. Now, single row functions are generally categorized as character functions, number functions, date functions, and conversion functions. Now, single row functions are mostly used for manipulating the data. Manipulating the data means to give intelligence to select statements, to give intelligence to delete statements, to give intelligence to update statements, to give intelligence to the criterion composition of the insert or select. Means every SQL statement will get definitely dominated by these single row functions somewhere in the process of the manipulations. Now every single row function can accept one or more number of arguments. Should accept is not a rule, but definitely returns one value, and the return value always contains a data type. So every time you work with single row functions, your job is to know what are the data types through which the function is operating and returning. And whenever you supply arguments, the arguments what you are supplying to your single row function can be a user supplied constant, literal. It can be a variable name, where the variable can be substitution variable, it can be PLSQL variable, or it can be bind variable. And every single row function can even accept column names directly from the table. And single row functions can even have expressions as arguments. Every function will have one name, and the function will be having certain columns or expressions along with the arguments. These functions will act on each row that is returned by the query. They return only one record for every single record that is returned by the query. They can return a data value which is other than the actual data type. Means what? I am working on a character function, but my return value can be a number. A character function to return definitely characters is not a rule. Be very clear. May expect one or more number of arguments. It can be used in select and wait clauses very effectively, increasing the intelligence of the application. And finally, they can be nested. Everything what I am speaking, we will see definitely through the rule of executions. If you are coming to the character functions, these functions always accept character data, and they may return a number or they may return characters also. But internally, whenever these functions are returning the character data, they can return to the maximum of 4000 bytes. So the function has that ability. Number functions. These functions will always try to accept only numbers, and they will return only numerical values. These functions don't return any other values. The data type returned is only numbers. Coming to the date functions, these functions will accept dates and they may return date, sometimes numbers also. We will check. We have conversion functions. These functions will help you in converting one data type to another data type at runtime. We have some general functions, NVL. We have already seen NVL previously. We have one decode function, the most powerful function in Oracle, I can say. So when I feel you are looking mature, I will add the function called as decode. That's what I said, 80% functions will close in this chapter itself. Any other specifications of the functions are available. We will just check through the topics and according to that we will be moving. So we'll start with character functions, then I'll go with number functions, then I'll close with the data functions, they will extend with conversion functions, and then we will go into multiple row functions, aggregations. Now it's absolutely time you have to start with the process, because with functions our logical constructs will change. Logical burden starts now. You start getting the pressure of how to associate the logic and work for the real-time constructs. Especially people keeping experience, your journey starts very seriously from here onwards. So just catch up through the process very carefully. Second, for every function I will definitely tell you the function's fundamental definition, the function's fundamental syntax will be given to you, and we'll pick up some examples. Every example will go with a proper explanation to its behavior. Absolute concentration the moment I start my session till I close my session. After that, to make yourself comfortable, seriously you have to put yourself into practice. Because once my functions are completed, my first level journey with you in your Oracle is closed. Then we'll start the second level journey. The second level journey is nothing but preparing ourselves to the standards of the industry. And that will be going for a few days. And after the third level journey will start getting ready to think and implement what industry does. And once that is completed, the fourth level journey begins. You will work at par with highest level expertise, what minimum 3.5 years, 4 to 5 years people will be doing in the industry at par with respect to the applications. Now how you will balance your time, that's up to you. But now it's time, minimum 3 hours and up to 4 hours per day practice is compulsory. Later on don't blame me, so you did not tell us how many hours we have to practice. Okay? Now if anybody is having one kind of mindset that if I am practicing, then sir, why you are sitting on that side now? I never said that I will practice for you. Okay? I said that I will only train you. Remember that. Okay? So don't ask that question to me now. Be very clear about that. You have to practice. So without practicing, can I have any wonderful job? I don't want to mention the designations what people without practice can do now. Okay? There are many jobs, but I don't want to talk about those designations, because I don't think I'm preparing you for them. So vision is yours. Be very sure. Now logically you'll have definitely some burden, but you have to come out of it. Listen very carefully with every point I say. Definitely you will never be nurtured, you will never be pampered from here onwards. So whenever you deal with your character functions, these functions are always going to work with character input, and they always return character values until certain special situations where numbers can be returned. The return value is up to 4000 bytes maximum. So if the data is more than 4000 bytes truncated, Oracle never gives any error, it truncates to 4000 and stops. These functions can be categorized as case conversion functions and character manipulation functions. Case conversion functions are very simple. There are three functions under this category: lower function, upper function, init cap function. Be very clear about that. So when you are dealing with a lower function, the name itself is telling you this function can convert any string of data into lowercase. If the data is already in uppercase, it will try to convert it into lowercase. If the data is already in lowercase, no errors, returns as it is. This function does not take any arguments, it only takes a parameter, which can be a column or which can be any expression. When you come to the upper function is just reverse of the lower. If your data that is given is in lowercase, it converts it into uppercase. If suppose the data is already in uppercase, it returns the data as it is. It also takes only a parameter, no arguments, and return value is always a character up to the maximum of 4000 bytes. And technically, these functions will be used only in general conversion to the requirement of the data by its nature. We have a third function called as init cap. Init cap is called as initial capital letter function. So when you are using this init cap function, it has the ability to return that particular piece of the data by each first character of every word in capital letters. We sometimes call that as title casing, or sometimes we even call that as camel casing. Are you getting me? So generally different people may use different terms. So just don't worry about the terms now. So just watch here, when we are trying to execute through the process, how it just works through. We are saying select. I'll just go with Oracle Corporation. So this is my string, what I'm exactly trying to provide. Then I'm calling my lower of. That's how we call the function. And then I'm just giving this particular string into this. So I'm just giving the alias from dual. So you gave the data in uppercase and it is putting the data in what? Lowercase. So that is its fundamental nature. Be very clear about that. The same way you can just watch, we are having employee's name, original ename, then I can call lower of ename. So that is nothing but low ename from emp. Only for presentation purpose, my total employee names are converted into what? Lowercase. Now, for any particular column in which we are interested, we can just apply through the process. There's nothing like that. It should be used on only one specification. So we say job, and then we are saying lower of job. So I'm just trying to say low job, and then we are just executing it. So it just puts the data into the lowercase immediately. Now these functions are very interesting when you're working with the criteria and composition of the executions. Means what? I'm saying job comma sal comma higher date, let us say. Then here I'm saying where job is equal to ampersand of give job. Now I'm asking the job at runtime now. Now we are giving the job as manager. I think you got the managers. It is asking you the job and you said something like clerk. My clerks are uppercase, I'm giving lowercase, so it fails by saying no rows selected. So what is my advantage here now? My job in my table is in which case? Uppercase. Now the job what I am giving is what? Maybe uppercase, maybe lowercase. So just watch here, I am calling my function on this column. So where I can call my function? You can call your function anywhere. So now you are saying, suppose select clerk. So it is taking your lower clerk, converting that into what? On the actual column into lowercase, and then it's giving you the outputs. Now don't say, sir, my clerks are not lowercase here. I kept my lower in filter. This is projection, this is selection. Don't forget those differences. So whenever you start working with the function can be used where? Function can be used anywhere, man. The only thing is you should know where exactly it can be applied by its own nature. So you have your criterion composition of the upper function. What upper function will do? Watch. We are saying Oracle Corporation, which is in lowercase. Now I am calling upper of, and I am giving this, which is in lowercase now. So I am just trying to say upper from dual. So technologically the function is converting that into what? Uppercase. So here you can just watch, we are just moving down with the process by saying ename, comma, department number, comma, job, comma, sal, and I am saying from EMP where. Now I am saying job is equal to, I am saying manager. I am giving in lowercase, but in my database it is in what? Uppercase. So now it's saying no row selected. So what I can do is, instead of putting lowercase on this, I can even keep upper on this and say, please convert this into uppercase and then make a comparison. So by making use of your functions in a proper way, you always have an advantage. It means what I am saying, job in, I am saying ampersand of G, job 1. Now I am just trying to take a list now. So this is job 2 and this is job 3. Now I am just it's asking me the job 1. I am saying manager, then I said clerk, then I said salesman. Now watch carefully, actually these three designations are there, but only managers are coming, because clerk and salesman are not in the proper casing. So I just do not want to break this construct of process as a failure. So I can always call upper, and then we can always tell Oracle, whatever the end user is giving, you don't worry, but just see that you're returning me in what? Uppercase. So whatever data I give, the data you just watch carefully. I gave this as manager, then I said this is clerk, and I said salesman. I'm not following a proper case here, but my function will convert and then it gives me all the outputs. So because of this function, are we not promising that we can give non-case sensitive search applications very easily now? So every function has some influencement. That influence to the function should be well known to you. Now because you are using your functions, now don't try to keep the things aside what you have already learned. Means what? Now you just watch, I am saying select ename, so I am just going with my concatenations and literals and all the things as it is. So my employees' names are in capitals, but my designations became more lowercase. So how you fundamentally present the output, it is all your practice. Be very clear about it. Suppose I am saying here double quotes, concatenated with, and then I am just working out on the process. All my designations are in lower cases, double quotes. So planning your literals and everything is just a practice. See, every day you should be in your own innovative state to do the thing. The more you keep yourself into the process of making your hands dirty with practice, when you go within your projects, nothing will look difficult for you. You just keep yourself on lateral state of your practice. Don't think that projects can be that easy. They will definitely keep you into a greater of fear if your practice never starts properly from these areas. Now the next function we have is a function that is called as initCap. I told you this function will always returns the first character of every word as what? Capital letters. So here you just want certain things about this function now. I am saying here Oracle Corporation, and then I am just trying to say string. Then I am just going with initCap of the same Oracle Corporation. I am just taking into this. I am just trying to say initCap from dual. So your first O and C are just capitalized. You can just watch. So the first character of every word will become what? Capital. Now how Oracle recognizes the words? Delimiter is space by default. But there is one more point you should always catch up, okay? Catch here. Now I am just trying to say data for so we are just trying to say this is a string, and then I am calling initCap, and we are going with this where we are having multiple different number of words now, and we are saying from dual. So you can just want the first character of every word became automatically caps, because it recognizes with the space that is available here. But Oracle has not only the space as a delimiter, but another thing. What is that? Watch carefully. I am filling the issues now. Here I am filling this value with some number, and here I am filling this particular piece of the value with another number. I am leaving the space as it is here, and in this place I am filling with @. Seriously, if you concentrate, this is one word, and once again this is another word, and this is a third word. So actually how many words am I having now? 3. Now let us just watch what is the behavior of Oracle in this case. Wherever the numbers are there, Oracle just continues as it is. But wherever special characters came, you watch its behavior. Space is identified and it's converted to capitals. But wherever number is there, the next word is not going for capitals. But wherever a special character is there, it's converting that into capitals. So when your interviewer is asking you how Oracle knows the words in a string, so according to Oracle, it identifies the words with either a space or special characters, not just the words. Everybody will say word, you will also say, but that additional point you have to say, according to Oracle, a word is recognized not just by space, but also by special character. Try to understand this constructs. Therefore, you can just watch here, we are saying select, the original name is ename. Now I am saying initCap of ename. Then we are just trying to say job, which is original job. Then we said initCap of job. And we are just going and saying from EMP. So all your employee names are in initial capital letters, with all your designations are in initial capital letters. So for quick conversion of the case, we can always use these 3 functions effectively through the process. So how you represent it and how you associate, it all depends on your fundamental practice. You can just watch here, I am saying concatenated with I am saying lower of job with a salary of I'm just saying sal employee. So here you can just put all the employee names are what? Init caps. So King's designation is president with a salary of 5,000. Where I'm keeping my designations in what? Lowercase, the two in double quotes. So why SQL developers can be really a compositional factors for moving anything for real-time reporting, you should understand. So it's not too complicated by functions, but I think we just kick-started the rule of the functions. But definitely we'll start adding the complications. So before we can leave, there's one simple function called as concat. Now concat is exactly equivalent to your particular concat operator what you have seen, which just helps you in concatenating the data from two different values. Means what? You can just watch, I'm having, suppose say like air, this is my string 1. Then I'm just trying to say plain, that is string 2. And I'm calling my concat of, you're calling this air, comma, plain. Concat function can take only 2 parameters. Then we are just going with the construct of dual. It has just concatenated, you can just watch it. So its job is to concatenate the constructs. Therefore, if you don't use your function properly, you'll have always your own confusions. Like, I'm saying, suppose say like ename, comma, job, concat, ename, comma, job. It just concatenates the names along with the jobs. Therefore, making it look meaningful is your job. Suppose like I'm writing something like this now. Concat can concatenate how many number of parameters we said? Only 2. But nesting of functions can do the wonders. Now what is that? You just watch carefully. Concat ename, concat of, so I'm keeping one function within another function. This is called as nesting of functions. The inner function will work first, returning the data to the outer function, and then outer function will start working. So if you can just watch here. King is designated as president. So is not the functions in nesting are giving you more better way of representations? Not only that, you can just work more better by your own idea of analysis. So what do you mean? You just check here. I am saying in this case, init cap of ename. And I can always say lower of job. So how many functions can come in nesting? As per your requirement, you call them. Definitely, I don't think there is anything that you can start by hearting now. Understand the situation, identify the requirement, start applying the process. So if you have anywhere your mindset that I will start with by hearting through the process. How many, when only in functions, you wait and check, we will fire average 150 to 200 examples we will fire. Okay, how many will by heart? So technically, no way you can do that. Every function with respect to its examples is given in your material. What I am typing on my screen, few examples will be as it is, few extra could be coming. First practice your material to what it is given to you. Spools will come following through the process. Maybe weekly once or twice we will send a spool. That's another additional thing you have to do it now. Seriously your work starts, I am telling you. Now don't tell any stories like, sir, I was having so much of work, I was having this much of work. When you come with the doubt, I also have work. Okay? Be very clear about that. So don't expect that I am sitting idle anywhere in my life now. You do your work, I'll do my work. That's all. Thank you once again tomorrow.